The ancient monitoring station orbited Earth's moon like a silent guardian. Commander Zektar of the galactic hegemony watched the blue planet through his ship's view screen. His four arms moved across the control panels with practiced ease. 6,000 years had passed since the hegemony placed humanity under quarantine. Status report, Zektar commanded. His voice echoed through the bridge like grinding stone. Human population has reached 12 billion, reported his science officer. They have colonized their entire solar system. Mars supports 2 billion. The asteroid belt houses another billion in mining stations. Zektar's scaled face showed no emotion. The hegemony had watched humanity since they first discovered fire. Other species took millions of years to develop space travel. Humans did it in mere thousands. This speed frightened the Council. Their military strength? Zektar asked. Unknown. They stopped broadcasting military data 2 centuries ago. Our spies cannot penetrate their defense networks. The commander turned to face his crew. 200 beings from different worlds served under him. Each race had submitted to the hegemony peacefully. Humanity refused their initial contact 6 millennia ago. They chose isolation over servitude. The Council has decided, Zektar announced. Humanity's quarantine ends today. They will submit or face extinction. His tactical officer, a creature with crystalline skin, spoke up. Commander, the humans have developed faster than predicted. Perhaps we should request additional fleets. One fleet conquered the Draxi Empire. One fleet brought the molecular collective to heal. One fleet is sufficient for primitive humans who barely left their home system. The bridge crew exchanged glances. Many had studied human history during their long vigil. They knew about human wars. Thermopylae, Stalingrad, Iwo Jima. Names that meant nothing to most species, but showed something unique about humanity. They didn't just fight to win. They fought to make their enemies remember. Zektar activated the communication system. The message would reach Earth in minutes. People of Earth, I am Commander Zektar of the galactic hegemony. For 6,000 years, we have watched your development. You have reached the minimum technological threshold for integration. Submit to hegemony rule, and you will know peace. Resist, and you will know only ashes. You have 1 Earth rotation to respond. On Earth, the message played in every language simultaneously. In Beijing, Moscow, Washington, London, and Mumbai, leaders gathered, not in panic, but with grim determination. Humanity had known this day would come. They had spent 6,000 years preparing for it. Admiral Sarah Chan stood in the United Earth Defense Command, located deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Screens surrounded her showing fleet positions across the solar system. Humanity's true strength remained hidden. Shipyards on the far side of Jupiter's moons. Weapon platforms disguised as mining operations. An entire battle fleet hiding in the Orc cloud. How many ships does the hegemony fleet have? She asked. 500 vessels, Admiral. Each one is twice the size of our battleships. Admiral Chen smiled. It wasn't a pleasant smile. They think we're the same species that could barely reach our own moon when they first found us. They're about to learn how wrong they are. She turned to her staff. Representatives from every nation stood ready. Send a response. The message was simple. A single word that would echo through galactic history. No. Zektar received the response with disbelief. No species had ever refused integration after the final ultimatum. He stood from his command throne, all 4 arms spread in anger. They dare refuse the hegemony? Prepare for orbital bombardment. We'll turn their cities to glass and see how defiant they remain. Commander, his sensor officer interrupted. I'm detecting energy signatures from Earth's moon. Impossible. Our scans show no technology there except ancient human landing sites. The moon's surface erupted. Hidden doors opened across hundreds of craters. Massive railguns emerged, each one the size of a city block. They had been built in secret, piece by piece, over centuries. The first volley caught the hegemony fleet completely off guard. Tungsten rods accelerated to near-light speed punched through shields and armor like paper. 3 hegemony cruisers exploded in the first second. 5 more in the second. Zektar's confident expression crumbled. Return fire. All weapons. But humanity's surprises had only begun. Mars revealed its own defenses. Phobos and Deimos were not just moons but disguised battle stations. The asteroid belt came alive with thousands of armed mining ships. Each rock had been turned into a weapon platform. From Earth itself, ships rose from hidden underground hangars. Not the primitive vessels the hegemony expected, but sleek warships powered by technologies the galaxy had never seen. Humanity had not spent 6,000 years idle. They had watched. They had learned. They had prepared. Impossible, Zektar muttered as his fleet's formation crumbled. They're primitives. Barbarians. His science officer's tentacles writhed in fear. Commander, I'm reading antimatter signatures. Singularity weapons. Technology that should take millions of years to develop. All ships retreat to the edge of the system, regroup, and a new voice cut across their communications. Admiral Chen's face appeared on every hegemony screen. She spoke calmly, but her eyes held the fury of 6,000 years of preparation. Commander Zektar, you came to our home. You threatened our people. You expected us to kneel. But you forgot one thing about humanity. She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. We've been expecting you. The battle of Soul had begun, and the galaxy would soon learn why humanity had been quarantined in the first place. Not to protect humanity from the galaxy, but to protect the galaxy from humanity. The hegemony fleet limped to Neptune's orbit, half their ships burning wrecks scattered across the solar system. Commander Zektar's bridge sparked with damaged systems. His perfect scales were cracked and bleeding purple blood. The surprise attack had shattered more than his fleet. It had shattered 5 million years of hegemony dominance. Damage report, he croaked. 230 ships destroyed. 120 severely damaged. Only 150 combat ready. His tactical officer's crystalline skin had turned dark with fear. Commander, we need reinforcements. Send the distress signal to the council. Tell them, Sektar Pos. Tell them what? That primitives who discovered space travel yesterday had destroyed half his fleet in minutes? Tell them humanity possesses unknown weapons technology. Far from the battle, on the hegemony throne world, the Eternal Council received the message with shock. The 12 beings who ruled 1,000 species had never faced real resistance. Species either submitted or were destroyed. There was no third option. How is this possible? The Prime Counselor's telepathic voice filled the chamber. Humans are infants. Their entire recorded history is shorter than my morning meditation. Perhaps that's why they're dangerous, suggested Counselor Vex, her gossamer wings flickering nervously. Other species develop slowly, carefully. Humans sprint forward like they're racing against time itself. The Prime Counselor made a decision that would doom them all. Send the second and third fleets. Send the planet crackers. If humanity won't submit, we'll make an example of them. Let the galaxy see what happens to those who resist. Back in Sol System, Admiral Chen studied the tactical displays. The enemy fleet held position near Neptune, licking their wounds. She knew they were calling for help. Good. Let them come. Status on Operation Prometheus? She asked. All hidden assets throughout the galaxy report ready, Admiral. 6,000 years of sleeper ships, disguised colonies, and deep cover operations. 20 billion humans spread across 1,000 worlds, all waiting for activation. Chen nodded. Humanity had never truly been quarantined. While the hegemony watched Earth, generation ships had slipped away into the dark. Humans had settled dead worlds the hegemony ignored. They had built in secret, planned in silence, and waited for this moment. And the special weapons? Project Kronos is operational. Project Pandora awaits your command. Project Nemesis. The officer paused. Admiral, Nemesis could destabilize half the galaxy. Then, let's hope we don't need it. Chen turned to her communications officer. Open a channel to the hegemony commander. Zektar's broken bridge received the transmission. Admiral Chen appeared calm, almost sympathetic. Commander, you have a choice. Take your remaining ships and leave. Tell your council that humanity wishes peace, but will not accept slavery. This doesn't have to end in more bloodshed. You dare offer terms? Sektar snarled. You ambushed a peaceful diplomatic mission. Peaceful? Chen's voice turned to steel. You came with 500 warships and threatened genocide. But I'll ask you something, Commander. In your 6,000 years of watching US, what did you see? Primitives. Warlike barbarians who couldn't stop killing each other long enough to achieve unity. Wrong. Shun leaned forward. You saw a species that turned every challenge into strength. Every war taught us new ways to fight. Every plague made our medicine stronger. Every disaster made us more unified. You saw our wars and thought we were weak. You missed the important part. After every war, enemies became allies. After every conflict, we grew stronger together. She gestured to someone off-screen. Around Zektar's fleet, space itself seemed to ripple. Hundreds of human ships dropped out of subspace, surrounding the hegemony forces. But these weren't military vessels. They were passenger ships, cargohodes, mining vessels. Every human ship in the system had come. You see warlike barbarians, Chen continued. But humans are builders, dreamers. We fight not because we love war, but because we love what we protect. Our children, our future, our freedom to choose our own path. The Council will send more fleets. Larger fleets. You've doomed your species. No, Commander. We've freed it. The transmission ended. Zektar faced an impossible choice. Fight and die here or retreat and report failure. His crew watched him, waiting for orders. In 6,000 years of conquest, no hegemony commander had ever retreated. But no hegemony commander had ever faced humans. All ships, Zektar spoke slowly, each word cutting his pride. Prepare for emergency jump. We return to Council space. His tactical officer couldn't hide his relief. Course plotted, Commander. As the battered hegemony fleet prepared to flee, they detected massive energy readings from across the solar system. Humanity was building something. Multiple somethings. Giant construction projects that defied understanding. What are they doing? Sektar wundered alud. His science officer studied the readings. Unknown, Commander. But the energy signatures suggest they're building at a rate that should be impossible. It's as if they had these plans ready for thousands of years. They had. Every human had grown up knowing this day would come. The day when Earth would stand alone against the galaxy. Children played games about it. Students studied strategies. Engineers designed weapons. All waiting for the moment when the Watchers became the invaders. The hegemony fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving humanity victorious, but knowing this was only the beginning. The real war was coming. On Earth, celebrations were brief. Admiral Chin met with the Global Defense Council. Leaders from every nation attended virtually, their faces grim despite the victory. Phase 1 is complete, Chin reported. The hegemony knows we can fight. Phase 2 begins now. President Martinez of the Americas Union spoke first. Are we ready for full galactic war? We bloodied their nose, but the hegemony controls 1,000 systems. We don't need to defeat them militarily, Chin replied. We need to show the galaxy there's another way. How many species serve the hegemony out of fear rather than choice? Our intelligence suggests most of them, answered Chairman Wei. The hegemony rules through intimidation. No one has successfully resisted them before. Then we'll be the first. Activate all sleeper cells. Begin Operation Liberation. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity really stands for. Across 1,000 worlds, humans who had lived in secret for generations received the signal. They had integrated into alien societies, learned their languages, understood their fears. Now they would offer something the hegemony never had. Choice. The war for the galaxy's soul was about to begin. And humanity, the youngest species in known space, would teach the ancient powers a lesson they would never forget. Sometimes the youngest child in the family turns out to be the strongest. The Eternal Council Chamber had never known fear. For 5 million years, it had been a place of absolute authority. Now, 12 beings who controlled the fate of 1,000 species huddled together like frightened children. Commander Zektar's report had shattered their reality. 20 billion humans hidden throughout our territory. The Prime Counselor's telepathic voice wavered. Impossible. Our surveillance network is perfect. Was perfect, corrected Counselor Vex. The humans spent 6,000 years learning our weaknesses. While we watched Earth, they spread like a virus we couldn't detect. Above them, holographic displays showed chaos across the galaxy. On Kepler Prime, humans had revealed themselves and offered the enslaved Kalari freedom. Within hours, half the planet had risen in rebellion. On the factory world of Proxima, human engineers had shut down the automated systems that built hegemony warships, then broadcast the shutdown codes to every oppressed world. But it wasn't military action that terrified the Council. It was the message spreading faster than light across every communication network. A simple video of Admiral Chun, translated into 10,000 languages, citizens of the galaxy. For 5 million years, you've been told there's only one way to live. Submit or die. We're here to tell you there's a third option. Freedom. Humanity offers alliance, not domination. Technology sharing, not hoarding. Mutual defense, not oppression. You don't have to kneel anymore. Stand with us. Stand for yourselves. Stand together. The Prime Counselor rose from his throne. Deploy all fleets. Every ship, every weapon. Burn Earth to cinders. Exterminate every human in the galaxy. Prime Counselor. Counselor Zoix interrupted, his chitinous body clicking nervously. The Fourth Fleet reports they cannot comply. Half their crews are refusing orders. The humans, they've been talking to them, showing them another way. Treason. The Prime Counselor's rage shook the chamber. Execute any who refuse. With respect, Counselor Vex said quietly, executing half our military would leave us defenseless. The truth hung in the air like poison. The hegemony's power had always relied on fear and the belief that resistance was impossible. Humanity had proved resistance was not only possible, but successful. That knowledge spread through the galaxy like wildfire. On Earth, Admiral Chun coordinated the largest military operation in human history. Not an invasion, but a liberation. Human ships, crewed by volunteers from 100 allied species, struck at hegemony strongholds. But they didn't come to conquer. They came to free. Admiral, her intelligence officer reported, the Draxi Empire has declared independence from the hegemony. They're requesting human advisors to help establish a democratic government. Send them. Make sure they understand we're advisors, not rulers. They must find their own path. Similar reports flooded in. The Molecular Collective voted to join the Human Alliance. The warrior clans of Vega pledged their blades to humanity's cause. Species after species threw off their chains, inspired by humanity's example. But the hegemony still commanded vast resources. Their core fleets, crewed by fanatically loyal species, converged on Earth. 1,000 ships of the line, planet-killing weapons that had ended civilizations. The final battle approached. Admiral, her tactical officer's voice was steady despite the odds. Enemy fleet will reach Earth in 72 hours. Numerical superiority 3-1 in their favor. Chin smiled. Then it's a fair fight. Initiate Project Kronos. Across human space, temporal manipulation devices activated. Humanity's greatest secret weapon wasn't a gun or a bomb. It was time itself. 6,000 years of research into the fundamental forces of the universe had yielded technology the hegemony couldn't imagine. Time around Earth accelerated. Days passed inside the field while only hours passed outside. Human factories produced a warship every hour. Training programs that took months were completed in days. By the time the hegemony fleet arrived, Earth's defenses had grown threefold. But humanity's true weapon was already deployed. On the hegemony flagship, Prime Counselor Zektoth personally led the assault. His presence would ensure no crew defected. Any who showed weakness would be eliminated. He stood on his bridge, watching Earth grow larger. All ships prepare for total bombardment. We'll turn their world to ash and scatter the remains across space. Let all who would resist see the price of defiance. Prime Counselor, his communications officer, spoke hesitantly. We're receiving a transmission. Not from Earth. From everywhere. The main screen filled with faces. Thousands of them. Humans and aliens standing together on 100 worlds. Scientists working side by side. Children playing together. Soldiers defending each other. The message was clear without words. The galaxy had already changed. Destroying Earth wouldn't stop it. Then, Admiral Chen appeared. Behind her stood representatives of 50 species, all free, all choosing to stand with humanity. Prime Counselor, she said calmly, look at your fleet. Look at your empire. Built on fear, maintained by force, destined to fall. We offer you the same choice we offered everyone. Join us as equals, or face the combined might of free peoples. But know this, you're not fighting humanity anymore. You're fighting hope itself. And hope is the one enemy you can never defeat. The Prime Counselor's response was predictable. All ships opened fire. But something impossible happened. Half his fleet didn't fire. On hundreds of ships, crews who had secretly listened to human transmissions, who had tasted the possibility of freedom, refused the order. Mutinies erupted across the hegemony fleet. Brother fought brother as the old order collapsed from within. The Battle of Earth became the battle for freedom. Human ships fought alongside rebel hegemony vessels. Former enemies became allies in the space between heartbeats. The hegemony's numerical advantage evaporated as their forces turned on each other. Chen watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. All free ships protect the defectors. They're choosing courage over comfort. Honor their choice. The battle raged for days. The hegemony loyalists fought with desperate fury, knowing defeat meant the end of everything they believed. But they faced something stronger than weapons or ships. They faced an idea whose time had come. Freedom. When the last loyalist ship surrendered, the galaxy held its breath. 5 million years of tyranny had ended in 5 days of battle. The Prime Counselor's flagship drifted powerless, its crew in chains, its leader awaiting judgment. But humanity surprised the galaxy one more time. Admiral Chen broadcast to every world, every ship, every being who could hear. The war is over. Not because we conquered, but because we chose to unite. The hegemony is dead. What comes next, we build together. Human and alien, strong and weak, all equal, all free. She turned to the captured hegemony leaders. You expected us to destroy you, as you would have destroyed us. But humans learned long ago that today's enemy can be tomorrow's friend. You'll stand trial for your crimes. You'll face justice. But you'll also have the chance to earn redemption. That's what freedom means. The choice to become better than you were. The galaxy watched in awe as humanity, the youngest species, taught the oldest lesson. Strength wasn't about domination. It was about lifting others up. Power wasn't about control. It was about sharing it. 6,000 years of preparation had led to 6 days that changed everything. On Earth, children looked up at stars that were no longer prison walls but doorways. Artists imagined beauty born from 100 cultures working together. Scientists dreamed of knowledge shared freely across the cosmos. And in the depths of space, on 1,000 worlds, beings who had never known freedom took their first free breaths. They looked to Earth not as subjects to rulers, but as friends to teachers. Humanity had waited 6,000 years for this moment. Not to conquer the galaxy, but to free it. Not to rule over others, but to stand beside them. The age of empires was over. The age of alliance had begun. And somewhere in the void, an old soldier turned to a young human diplomat and asked, "How did you do it? How did the youngest species defeat the oldest empire?" The human smiled. "We didn't defeat them. We showed them they were defeating themselves. Fear builds walls. Hope builds bridges. We just reminded the galaxy which one leads to the stars." The war was over. The real work of building a free galaxy had just begun. And humanity, unbroken and unbowed, stood ready to help every step of the way.